You're about to enter the Reb Zone Sports Show on Fox 5.
An offensive explosion. Ahead in the Reb Zone, the Runnin' Rebels put together two impressive games on both ends of the floor and shoot lights out at Air Force. Head coach Dave Rice is here to break down both wins. Plus, it's rivalry week for UNLV with games against both San Diego State and UNR. We have a preview. And Wednesday is senior night at the Thomas & Mack, what the two Rebels seniors have meant to the program. It's raining threes in the Reb Zone, and we're knocking them all down right now.
You are now entering the Reb Zone Sports Show on Fox 5.
Good evening and welcome inside the Reb Zone as we look back at a great week and a look ahead to an even more exciting one. Kevin Bulliner alongside Runnin' Rebels head coach Dave Rice. And last week, Coach, the question was whether there would be a hangover after that emotional loss at Boise State, and I think we got our answer, and it's no.
Terrific week for our program. Heartbreaking loss at Boise State. We talked about that last Sunday. But we bounced back, and against a very tough-minded and physical Colorado State team, we played terrific basketball both ends of the floor for just about the entire game, came away with a hard-fought victory. Then went to the Air Force Academy, which has been a very difficult place for UNLV to play for years, and played a great offensive game. We zoned for 40 minutes. We were active, and I just thought it was a great team victory. Really good week for our program. We can build on that moving forward, and we need to with the tough games coming up.
Well, let's start breaking down last week's games. Two big wins, beginning with yesterday afternoon at Air Force, where things were clicking. The Runnin' Rebels quickly stopped the chatter of the Clune Arena curse, and they did so with touches inside from the beginning. Bryce DeJean-Jones with the feed down low to Kem Birch for the bucket. Then BDJ with a beautiful drive for the finger roll. UNLV then lobs inside to Birch for another. The Rebels 5 of 5 from the field to start the game. Watch the great ball movement to Birch one more time inside. Then it started raining threes. Kevin Alekibay dialing long distance. Jelon Kendrick following suit. And Kendall Smith from the corner. The Rebs did it on defense as well. DeVille Smith with the steal, starting Kendall Smith on the fast break, all the way for the lay-in to open up a 40-27 lead. DeVille backs that up with a triple. And listen to these first half stats for UNLV. 61% shooting, 7 of 11 from 3, and the most points in a half all season as they head into the locker room up 51-34. In the second half, the onslaught continued. Olekibay stays hot from outside with the 3. Kendrick drops down a baseline jumper. Then Birch with the block. Rebs on the run. Olekibay feeding it back to Birch for a two-handed slam. More inside out as Birch swings it over to KO for the trifecta. Kendrick goes baseline for the hoop and the harm. And Daquan Cook knocks down a 3 as part of a 13-0 run midway through the second half to extend the Rebel lead to 24. It was cruise control from there, and the stats are gaudy. 62% from the floor for the game, 67% from downtown, 13 of 19 from the line, and 7 Rebels in double figures, led by Kem Birch's 15 points, 14 rebounds, and 4 blocks in just 28 minutes. A solid effort all the way around as UNLV puts a full 40 minutes together and wins going away 93-67. The shooting phenomenal in this game. We talked about it, 62%. If your guys knock down shots like that, there aren't many teams that are going to be able to beat UNLV.
Well, I think it goes back to the Boise game. For 45 minutes against Boise, we were great on the offensive end of the floor. For the most part against Colorado State, we were terrific offensively. And then certainly at Air Force, we played at our pace. We played inside out, dribble penetration, kicked it in, kicked it out. Shot the ball well, got our feet set, played with confidence, and so very pleased with the progress we've made offensively.
When you get 7 players in double figures and get that type of balanced scoring, what does that do to teams in terms of preparation? Because really there's a lot of different ways that they can go, but they can't do everything and be everywhere at once.
Yeah, and that's what makes it difficult to game plan for us. And again, we've played with no agenda on the offensive end other than just whoever the open man is, we get the ball to him. We play inside out. We've got someone inside like Kem Birch who we can throw it to. Chris Wood continues to get better. Carlos did a good job for us yesterday. Demetrius Morant went in and got a basket. And all that inside play helps us so much. Now it sets us up for the outside play, and that's been terrific for us.
Would you say that these last 3 games are the best this team has been offensively in a stretch this season?
I think there's no doubt. And I think it has to do with our patience on the offensive end. I think it has to do with our unselfishness and just getting to know each other and how hard we worked and how determined we are to try to finish this season on these very, very strong notes. There's a lot to play for. Our guys understand that, and they're working hard, and we understand the challenge of the good teams that are coming up that we have to play. But it's exciting. It's an exciting time of year.
Defensively, it looks a lot different than the first time that Air Force came in and played you guys at the Thomas and Mack. What adjustments did you guys make? Because a lot of players that were lost, it seemed like the first time around, seemed a little more focused and in tune with what they were going to do.
As a staff, we talked about it, and I wanted to clear our guys' minds on the offensive end. The first time we played Air Force, it was the first time that a number of our guys had guarded all of the Air Force/Princeton sets. So I just made the decision we're going to play 40 minutes of zone. I thought it cleared our minds. Our guys have really taken to the zone. It's something we'll use moving forward. We're always going to be primarily a man-to-man defensive team. That's what we are. That's what we've been. But to be able to throw some possessions of zone, we did it at the end of the Colorado State game. I thought it really helped us. And I think moving forward, it gives us some confidence to switch defenses and kind of keep the other team off guard. This time of year, you need to do some different things, add some wrinkles, and that's one of the things we can do. And our guys have taken to it. And we're always going to be a man-to-man defensive team, but we do have the ability to play some zone as well, just probably not 40 minutes like we did at Air Force.
Late in the game, Roscoe Smith butted heads with an Air Force player and seemed a little woozy on the sideline. Where are we talking in terms of concussion-like symptoms, and how is this going to impact his availability for Wednesday night against San Diego State?
Well, for good reason, because our first concern is always the health of our players. And again, it's NCAA mandated, but we always are concerned with the health of our players. He's been evaluated. He does have concussion-like symptoms. He'll be evaluated on a day-to-day basis, but he probably will not play against San Diego State on Wednesday, but he'll be evaluated again tomorrow and then the next day as well.
Certainly something we'll talk about a little later in the show when we preview next week's games on how much that could impact the Rebels-Aztecs matchup. But we want to talk about Wednesday night as well. And over at the Thomas and Mack, UNLV took out another team that had beaten them earlier this season, and they put together another solid game against Colorado State. Any worries about a letdown after the emotional loss to Boise State were quickly wiped away against Colorado State. The Runnin' Rebels came out focused and determined. DeVille Smith knocks down a triple, and Bryce DeJean-Jones follows with a 3 of his own as UNLV jumped out to a 10-5 lead. Then Jelon Kendrick took over. The drive to the hole for the bucket. Then off the Ram turnover, Kendrick goes coast to coast for the hoop and the harm. He did it on defense as well. The strip to start the break and the dump off to Chris Wood for the 3. Kendrick ended the half with 9 points and 2 steals in just 10 minutes. The Rebels come up with another steal and start to run. Watch the pass to Kevin Olakibe for a 3-ball from the corner pocket. UNLV shot 40% from three-point range in the first half and went into the locker room up 41-31. The Rebs came out strong in the second half. BDJ with the spin move and the lay-in to keep the lead at 10. But Colorado State kept chipping away and made a charge led by John Octius, who gets a lay-in and questionable foul call, then drops a 3. One lapse moment for UNLV as no one gets back on defense, and J.J. Avila gets the easy bucket. The Rebel lead was cut to 1 at 62-61 with 8:34 left. At that point, UNLV went on a 9-0 run as 2 things happened. The shooters got their groove back, Kevin Olakibe knocking down a jumper, and UNLV switched to a zone defense, which seemed to frustrate CSU, leading to missed shots and this block by Kem Birch. The Rebels hit their free throws down the stretch and shot 16 of 23 from the stripe in the second half as UNLV controls the final 7 minutes and wins 78-70.
I think guys are just learning how to play better with each other, and we're kind of seeing in our offense how to be more effective all around. I mean, it's just working for us. I mean, guys are just making shots that we just practice all the time. So I mean, it's real big for us to help us carry us through this ending stretch.
I just told the guys we got to stay confident, and when we're on our game together as one, there's not a team that can play with us. So just got to tell guys, to stay confident, and if everybody on the team stays confident, we'll be fine.
Let's start with the switch to the zone because, as you said, you are predominantly a man-to-man type team. When they pull within one, that switch to the zone really seemed to throw them off kilter and led to that 9-0 run that really put the game away.
We've been working on it quite a bit. Part of that was to work on it to play it against Air Force, but we felt like we had an opportunity to play it against Colorado State as well. And our guys have taken to it. They have a lot of pride in it. It forces us to talk on defense a lot better, and I just think being able to go back and forth. But it just changed the rhythm of the game, and our guys played it extremely hard, and our team deserves a lot of credit for how they did in that game. The
free throws have been the constant talk, I guess. Some days good, some days bad. We always mention when they're bad. We should also mention when they're good. They were good all week this week, but especially down the stretch against Colorado State. We were 9 for 10 closing out the Colorado State game. That was not the case at Boise State. There was a lot of talk about the last shot, should it count, should it not count. The bottom line is we were 2 for our last 6 in regulation against Boise State going back a week. Against Colorado State, one game later, we were 9 for 10 in the last few minutes. We closed out the game the way we need to, and have a lot of confidence in our guys. We have good free throw shooters going to the Mexico game. We were shooting 71% from the free throw line. We drive the ball. We get to the free throw line. We need to make them, and was proud of the way we closed out that game. Well, coming up a little later in the show, we're going to give you a chance to win 2 tickets to the Thursday afternoon session of the Mountain West Tournament as part of a prize pack. But first, we want to give you a look at the final week of the regular season. 2 rivalry games on tap with San Diego State and Nevada. We're going to break it down with Coach Rice in 2 minutes as the Red Zone rolls on.
This Raising the Bar moment is brought to you by Born and Raised, the official home of Rebels on the Road.
Wednesday night against Colorado State, the Runnin' Rebels turned it up on both ends of the floor. Chris Wood gets the steal. DeVille Smith yanks the ball out and heads the other way. The sling pass to Kevin Olekebe for the 3, forcing a Ram timeout. Everything was clicking on this play, and it's this week's Raising the Bar moment. It doesn't get much better than this. We have hit March, and the Runnin' Rebels have games this week against 2 bitter rivals. The Runnin' Rebels square off with 2 of their biggest rivals this week, trying to avenge losses to both earlier this season. Wednesday night at the Thomas & Mack, San Diego State rolls in for perhaps the most anticipated home game every year. The Aztecs do so, stumbling a bit, and are in a heated battle with New Mexico for the regular season title. On January 18th at Viejas Arena, the Rebels got off to a horrible start offensively and shot only 30% for the game, including 2 of 18 from three-point range. But the UNLV defense was strong and limited San Diego State to 34% shooting. A big difference in the 63-52 Rebel loss. The Aztecs went to the line 27 times, making 21, and the Rebels only shot 11 free throws, making 8, despite the fact that UNLV drove the ball inside a lot. One thing you can always count on in a UNLV San Diego State game in Las Vegas is it's going to be hard fought and likely come down to the final minute.
To be honest with you, I am a little bit concerned about how will we be able to score the ball. Will we be able to make enough perimeter shots to be really good?
Saturday night in Reno, the regular season wraps up with a showdown against interstate rival UNR. The Wolfpack got off to a hot start in the conference, including a 74-71 win over UNLV at the Thomas & Mack on January 8th. But since then, UNR has cooled off a bit. Regardless, this is a bragging rights game for both schools.
There's only 2 schools in the state, and a lot of the kids are from Southern California and UNLV. I have a lot of kids from Southern California, so they know each other. And I think that's kind of a built-in rivalry as well, is bragging rights in the summertime.
Beating the Wolfpack is centered around one thing, containing Deontay Burton, who went for 29 points against UNLV in the first game. The Rebels have struggled this year against dominant point guards, and Burton fits that class. Stop him, and it should be a good night. Wednesday, now the big factor is Roscoe Smith And what is his absence if indeed he is not able to play on Wednesday? How does that change the complexion of what you have to do on Wednesday against the Aztecs?
Well, I think guys just have to step up. Christian Wood has played terrific for us. Again, he did not play against Air Force with the illness. He'll be fine. Carlos Lopez Sosa is a fifth-year senior. Have all the confidence in the world in him. I always start to see the seniors on senior night, so he will start. And then Demetrius Moran is a guy who continues to get better in practice. He played 6 minutes, quality minutes against Air Force, did a good job, and so we can go small as well. So a lot of options for us, and that's what you do. When you have an injury, you step up and you play. You don't make excuses.
Will that, and I know you don't want to give away trade secrets here, but does that dictate whether you go zone or man, because you're looking at potential matchup problems with San Diego State with Roscoe not there?
Well, I think we're pretty versatile. I think we can do both. Again, we're always going to be primarily a man-to-man team. There'll be times San Diego State goes small, we'll go small. There'll be times they'll be big, we'll go small. It'll be a chess match like it always is. It'll come right down to the wire like these San Diego State UNLV games always do. And I just look forward to the opportunity against a terrific basketball team. It's a tremendous challenge for us, but great opportunity.
Xavier Thames gets a lot of publicity and well-deserved. He was in a little bit of a slump. He broke out of that last night at Fresno State. But there are a lot of other weapons that San Diego State has that they can utilize throughout a game as they kind of go with the flow.
Well, they're a versatile, very, very deep team. They're tremendous on the defensive end of the floor. I think the thing where they beat you on their offensive end is that they get to the free throw line. They've shot more free throws than their opponents have attempted. So they're fantastic on the defensive end, but then they're tremendous getting to the free throw line. Coach Fisher is a guy who's been a tremendous coach, has been terrific to me over the years, and I just have so much respect for the job he's done at San Diego State building that program.
As for the game at Nevada on Saturday night, Deonte Burton has huge games against UNLV, it seems, every year. It seems like he's been at Nevada for 8 years because he always does come up big. What is the key to maybe try to do a better job of containing him and forcing him to get the ball off to other guys and force them to score?
Well, and again, our only focus right now is San Diego State, but since we're doing a show that's not going to do for another week, with Deonte Burton, he's an all-conference player. He's a guy who will be in the NBA next year without question. We had an 11-point lead. We let down a little bit, but we've got to make sure we make him make tough shots. He's going to get his points, but we've got to make him earn them. We've got to make him shoot over hands. We can't let him get all the way to the basket. We've got to do some things to change the tempo of the game, maybe switch defenses a little bit, but to make it tough on him. But it's not just him. It's Evans and Perez and Huff. They have a very, very good basketball team this year.
Well, Wednesday night, we talked about that huge game against San Diego State, but it is also senior night, and straight ahead in the Reb Zone, Coach Rice talks about the two outgoing Rebels and what they've meant to the program. Stick and stay. We'll be right back. Wednesday's game against San Diego State, the final regular season game at the Thomas & Mack, and it's a night to honor the seniors. UNLV only has two, Carlos Lopez Sosa and Kevin Alekebe. Lopez Sosa wasn't available to sit down with us, but we did get a chance to talk with Alekebe about his return home for a special season in more ways than one. Kevin Alekebe has brought an outside shot and steady, calming leadership presence to UNLV this year. The Cimarron grad returned to his hometown for his senior year after being granted a waiver for his transfer from Fresno State so he could help out his family and be closer to his father, who had suffered a stroke and requires around-the-clock care. Alekebe says the opportunity has been special.
My mom and my brothers, they come every home game, to support me. I see them after the games, and just being back here and not having to worry about all of the things that my dad's going through so far away. And, I don't know how I would have dealt with it if I was still at Fresno. And, I'm happy I'm back here. It worked out full circle.
KO has made significant contributions on the court, starting nearly every game and consistently tallying double-figure scoring games. His time as a running Rebel may have been brief, but this is a senior that deserves recognition and leads the way he grew up, a Rebel.
It's been very great. The coach has helped me a lot through my transition, and I wouldn't want to be nowhere else.
This kid came in difficult circumstances and has brought it every game, every practice for you guys, and a lot of leadership as well.
He's been tremendous for our team on the court, off the court. He was raised the right way. I'll always be grateful to Fresno State for supporting the waiver, for what Kevin and his family have gone through. He's been able to be there for his mom and his brothers with what his dad's gone through, and he just has built a great legacy here just in the 1 year. He's a fabulous young man who's going to be successful in basketball, but just be successful in life.
And as for Carlos Lopez Sosa, we weren't able to talk to him, but here's somebody who's been here for 4 years. People in Las Vegas know him from his time at Findlay before that, and is one of those guys that maybe has quietly been important to this program, especially this year, because a lot of his work has been done in practice.
Much more so than people realize. 3 years at Findlay Prep, and actually this is his 5th year at UNLV, so he's been 8 years in Las Vegas, and I can't say enough great things about his character, the way he's continued to provide leadership, the way he's helped our younger guys through the transition. There have been times, obviously, that Carlos would like to have played more minutes. He's a good player. He's going to play professionally next year. He's graduated from UNLV, and he has never been anything but positive for us, and I just think it speaks volumes. And he's one of the people that I want to epitomize what our program's all about in terms of team. And the senior night will be a special night for him. He'll start in that game, and certainly with Roscoe Smith's absence, potentially, Carlos becomes even more important. But he's always important because of the leadership qualities that he brings, and he's given us great lift off the bench as well many, many times, helping us beat New Mexico at the pit when he played 19 minutes.
Well, we certainly hope people go out to the Thomas and Mack for an 8 o'clock tip Wednesday and honor the seniors, as well as, of course, root on the Running Rebels against San Diego State. Now's your chance to win 2 tickets to Session 5 of the Mountain West Tournament in Las Vegas. That's the afternoon session on Thursday, March 13th, with games at noon and 2:30, all part of a prize pack from UNLV Tickets. Be the 5th caller right now at 1-888-FOX-5-WIN. That's 888-369-5946. Caller 5 wins it. And tune into the Reb Zone next week for a chance at an even bigger prize from UNLV Tickets and Fox 5. We're going to take one final break and have some final thoughts here from Coach Rice. But first, here's a look at how other Mountain West teams did over the weekend. Coach, thanks for stepping in the Reb Zone. Good luck this week. Fans, don't forget, Wednesday night, San Diego State, 8 o'clock tip-off. It is a whiteout. Come out and support the seniors and support the Running Rebels, and we hope to see you next Sunday in the Reb Zone. Good night.